I hear people on YouTube all the time, and in the fishing community now online, say things like, well, you can't throw, for instance, you can't throw a buzzbait on a spinning rod, or a spinner bait on a spinning rod. You can't throw crankbaits on a spinning rod. You can't throw plastic worms, Texas rigged worms on a spinning rod. I don't know where they're getting this. I think what happened is a lot of pro anglers have fine-tuned their rigs so that they know that certain lures are easier to deal with, or easier to fish maybe on a bait caster or a spinning reel. And people are watching these guys and watching the videos, and these guys are telling them you need 8-foot medium heavy or heavy action rod with a bait casting reel with a 9.2-to-1 gear ratio, yada yada yada, to throw this bait. Well, no, you don't. You don't. Okay, a lack of that will not cause the baits not to run right. It won't. Sorry, I don't know where everybody gets these ideas, except unless it's something like that. I've thrown everything I've ever thrown on spinning gear. I don't use bait casters. I've never flipping needed one. I've got one because I bought it on an impulse buy 20 years ago, 25 years ago, because it was on sale. I never learned to use it. Okay. You also hear stuff like, well, you can't throw crankbaits on monofilament line because the line floats and the crankbaits won't go down. Well, that's not true either. They will go down. They might not go down as far, or they might not go down as fast, but they will go down. And honestly, most crankbaits, when they tell you they'll dive 5 feet, they'll probably dive about 3 anyway. Doesn't matter what you're using. Sometimes it might be advantageous to throw a crankbait, a deep diving crankbait, on monofilament. Come on, somebody bite me. Because you might be in a situation like in this river, there's a lot of structure on the bottom. There's a lot of dead trees and limbs and tree roots and all kind of stuff that the tree grows on the side of the bank, and the erosion of the water, the roots are sticking way out, all kind of stuff. And if I use a deep diving crankbait in that situation and can't, and it's too deep, particularly if I'm doing bank fishing like I am now, well, as I cast, and as I reel in, I'm coming from deep water into shallow water. So what I'm doing is, if I was on a boat, I would be casting toward the shore, and when I crank the lure in, the bottom would be dropping away from me. And it's the exact opposite fishing from the shore. And so I have more likelihood of hanging up in something fishing from the shore than I do fishing from a boat. And so it might be better off for me to use a monofilament line because it does float. Those are some things to think about. Don't let people dissuade you from trying anything, okay? You can try anything. If it works for you, it works, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it. Probably 80% or 90% of the advice or instruction or whatever it is that you want to call it here on YouTube or anywhere else, when it comes to fishing, that you'll get is pretty much personal opinion and personal preference, and really does not represent reality. When a guy tells you, oh, you can't do that with this or you can't do that with that, most likely he's not telling you that that's a straight out fact, although he might be saying it is. But it's that he tried it and he didn't like it. Something to think about. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.